Well, probably you have done some machine learning already. So this is just a general overview of what people usually do with supervised machine learning. So, well, talking about supervised machine learning, what is that? So for supervised, it means we have the labeled data. So for each of the sample, we have already got the samples labeled. Okay, so the first thing, well, what I did was I imported NumPy, and then from the scikit-learn, I imported the linear regression, and then I also imported train test split. Okay, and the first thing, model equals linear regression and then normalize true. So what did I do here? So linear regression should be a class name. I just imported. So I imported a class called linear regression. And then I'm trying to create an instance of the linear regression class. So this model is really an instance of the linear regression model. And then if we want to print the model, well, it will Jupyter Notebook will tell me this is the linear regression model, and then there are a bunch of the parameters. So the next thing, I want to create a x and y. So x are all the features, and then a y will be a range from 0 to 5. So, well, here is a convention. So for the x, I use the upper letter x, but for the y, I use the lower letter y. So this is just a convention of the scikit-learning community. So we use the upper cases if it is a matrix, and we use a lowercase if it is a vector or a series. Okay, so this means for x, it is a 5 by 2 matrix, and for the y, it is a vector or a list of 5 values. So I printed y, and the next thing, train test split. So probably you have seen this before. So let me ask this question: is that a function or a method? Think about that. So if you check the syntax, it should be a function call. Okay, we are calling a function, and then we are sending x and y, and then we are sending the test size equals 40%. So this means we are doing a train test split, and then we are holding 40% of the samples as the testing set. So if we want to get the x train, so this is the training set, the features for the training. So x is capitalized again because this is a matrix. So this is 60% of the data for the training purpose, and then the y train, the labels of the training set, and then x test and y test. So the next thing, well, model dot fit x train y train. So remember, this model is the linear regression model we just created, and then we do a model.fit. So again, let me ask this. So for the fit, is that a function or a method? So in this case, this is a method because we did a instance or a object and then dot a method name. So this is a method. So we are trying to send the x train and the y train to the linear regression model for a training. And the next part, after we have the model, we do a model.predict. So this is another method call. So we are sending the x test. So we want to get the predictions based on the x test. So if you want to get the predictions, and you can see this is the first value and then the second value. So for the second value, it is 2.0. And for the first value, you need to pay attention to the e negative 15. So this is a very, very small value. Well, but personally, I don't quite like this way because, well, I just have so many digits after the decimals. So I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to set the precision to be 2, which means I only keep 2 digits after the decimal. And then if you want to see the predictions again, now it's a little bit better. So this is a quick sum up. Well, if you want to import a machine learning model, you can do that with scikit-learn, and scikit-learn has a bunch of machine learning models. And you really don't have to write machine learning models all by yourself from scratch. Well, later, if you have your own really fancy algorithms, probably you will do that. Well, and then usually you have to create a instance of a model. So you imported a class from scikit-learn, and then you have to create a machine learning model as the instance of that class. Well, and another thing is, remember, you may have to specify hyperparameters. So for this one, what we did was, let me see. Okay, here. So we specify hyperparameter called normalized. So we specify the normalized to be true. Well, and in some other machine learning models, you may have to do something even harder than that. For example, you may have to specify multiple parameters. Or in some even harder cases, you have to try different combinations of the hyperparameters to better tune your model. So this will be a topic we are going to cover later in this course. So in train test split, we are going train test split will return you the features usually x and the values labels usually y. So remember, usually x we use upper letters, and for the y we use lower letters, and it will return you a total of 4 objects. So they are x train, y train, x test, and y test. And you need to call the fit to train your model. And then after your model has already been trained, the last thing is you want to call the predict. You want to call the predict to make the predictions based on the test features. Okay.